I was called to clone this ECU and I break it with the multi-prog device. So with this process, we are going to recover it from the break state. So at this point, I was trying to write a firmware which is emo off onto the ECU. This is E67 ECU for Colorado 2009. So this when multiprog was out fresh. It was like 4 months old, 6 months old since multiprog came out. So I was trying to write a firmware onto it, which is the flash that I have I've done the emo off on. So I tried to write it and it failed. It broke the ECU. So at this point, I'm waiting. I thought it's a process, so I'm waiting. So what I'll do is I'll recover it and rewrite it with multiprog and see if they've improved it. So you can see I'm able to read the VIN. So I was able to read the data on the ECU with the multiprog, but during the flash process or during the rewriting process of the emo off file, that's when the ECU got bricked. So you can see the current, everything, and it's stuck at 2%. So I'll wait and see if it will move from 2% to any other percentage. Because with multiprog, when you're writing the file, the file is not the same, so it has to change the sectors because of the emo off. So I'll pause and bring you back. So you can see that it failed at 3%. So with this point, my ECU is bricked and I'm not able to communicate with it. So I'm trying again to see if it will work, and it has also failed at 3% again. And now the ECU is no more communicating. So I'm coming to recover this control unit. So the issue is I was trying to clone it and using the exhaust and it broke it. So this ECU is no more communicating. But I watched the video on YouTube and someone was able to recover it. So I'm coming to try my best to see if I can also recover it, because I've bought the device the person used, and now I'm coming to do the soldering point on it and see if I'll be able to recover it, because I have the data down. So I have to let the pin out and see if I'll be able to recover it. So now you can see the connection that I have done. I have laid everything on the MCU. So I'm going to read the MCU and there is no power line. So I have to connect 12-volt power supply to the MCU. So I'll do a screen record for other process. And with this one, I'm trying to identify the ECU because it has to identify the flash on the MCU. And it's not able to identify it because I'm having a pin error, because my pins are not connected properly. And if you can see, all the connection has been done correctly, but to connect it to the hardware, which is the U-Link device, that's where my issue is. So I'll try and ID it, although it's trying to do something or read the flash. I'm reading the flash now. It is reading, but it's a wrong flash, and you can see the position of the wires and everything. That so after so many hours of trying, it is now working, and I'm now going to, there is a bricked ECU. This is a brick ECU. I bricked it whilst I was using the multi-prog software on it, and I found this device which is unique. They call it UT Link, and there is the software. So you can see Unilink, and it's a guy in Canada who does the device. So now what I'll do is, you can see it's written here connected, and also BDM is on. That means it is on. So now it's able to detect the flash and even identify the MCU, which is MPC565. So what I'll do is I'm going to flash it, but before that I have the original firmware, but before that let me try and read it and see what I'll get. So you can see it is reading, and it's reading at this speed. You can see how quickly it's reading the flash for me, but I'm going to rewrite the flash. But what I'll do now is I'll save the file, the flash E79 break. So now the ECU is able to communicate, so I have the flash saved. I can do verify to verify the flash data read, and you can see I'm having everything successful, but I'm having the original flash available. So I'm going to write the original flash onto the ECU and comparing flash field. This ECU is having an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'll write this flash to it, then I'll see if everything will work perfectly. It will unbreak date, because when the flash gets corrupt, that's where you get the ECU not being able to communicate through the OBD or the CAN network. So this is my flash in the system already. So let me go to the output. I've been able to identify it, so let me go to write. Yes, but before that let me try and erase everything from the ECU, the MCU first. Even though if you try to write it, the ECU is going to the software is going to erase before writing. So let me finish with the writing, and you can see the progress bar. So this is my first time using this software, and I'm trying it. If everything is perfect, then you see this video. And it's really late here. I've not slept the whole day just to figure out how to use and to load all these things up, so that I can connect it to the system and do the check. So I think the flashing is done successfully. Yeah, it took 50 seconds. So now what I'm going to do is I can go to load flash and select the flash I want, or if I like, I can just click here to load the flash, and I can check them here. This is my firmware, and that's the same thing as the flash. So I have my firmware, and the software has calibrated the bin file, so I can either do right here or right here. Let me use this one rather. Yes, so it's going to erase the sectors as I said, then it will write them. I'm hoping it works. When it works, I've seen the video on YouTube. When it works, I'll be very glad. At that point I know I have gotten value for money, because I have to go and get the client a new PCM to fix the issue. So you can see the programming speed and everything, and the progress that is going through. So I'll wait for it to finish loading. I'll see what I can do about it, and you can see it is blinking. So it's now going to program it, and you can see the speed at which it's programming it. So now it is done. Anytime you see BDM on, that means it is done. really don't know why it's giving me this flash error. PCM memory, PC memory 70. So I'll send it to the guy and see if he can help me out with this issue. Then I'll call it a fix. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. So with this one, you can see I have connected my OBD star to it, and now I've written the file, so you don't mind this error. Compare data field, so we don't mind this error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it again. So if you can see from the script, it means it has been written successful. So if you check this point, it has been written successful, and I am going to rewrite it again. So with this file, there is the original file from the ECU before I break it. There is the original file from the ECU before I break it, and this is the one that I modified. So maybe when I was writing the one that I modified, that's where I was having issues. So with this one, let me rewrite it again and try and communicate with it on the tool. So the software works. It saved me, and you can see my connection. I'll make my video short so that you can see it's writing. It's now erasing the data and it's now writing it. So you can see the progress bar, and it doesn't take even up to a minute to write it. So with this one, I'm connected to the MCU direct. The MCU is under the board, which is the Motorola. If you can see, it is the Motorola MPC565, and I wish you guys follow this guy because he has done or something for me. So if you check Ulink NT, that's what I'm using. That's the device here, and now it is done writing. So you can see it's telling me to programming passed, and I have to power off and power on before I do the verification, although my verification will fail. All I needed was programming passed, and I have the programming being passed. So I've turned it off and on. So now what I'm going to do is even if I try verifying it again, it will give me an error. I don't know why. So I speak to the guy, and he was saying it is something related to the speed at which the data is being written, and you can see the speed here. So now thank God I've been able to recover this ECU successfully. So the next thing I'm going to do is, now that I've written the file onto the MCU, so you are not able to communicate with it when you break it through the CAN protocol. So now that I've soldered the wires and done the wiring so that I can communicate with the MCU direct, now I've written the original file onto it. So now let me come to my OBD star and select and communicate with it from here. It wasn't communicating till I wrote the original. So if you can see, I connected my OBD tool to the scan tool. I connected it to the scan tool. So before I do anything, there is a break the ECU. Before I do anything, let me go to info to see if it will be able to read the info. That's the most important thing. So if you can see, it's able to read the info and bring back the VIN number, and these are the calibration numbers and everything. So that means I'll be able to communicate with the ECU back. So let me hit connect. Thank God I've been able to recover this ECU. So it tells me to turn off and on. Let me press it. Turn it off and on, back on, then wait for it to communicate. So it is communicating. That's why you can see I'm at connecting to the ECU and security verification. Then from there, now I'll be able to read the data. So the flash got corrupted, and one thing I've learned about this is when you are using this device, don't read the flash on the MCU and rewrite it, because the flash on the MCU itself is corrupted. So if you want to do anything, you have to rewrite the original flash if only you are having it. If you are not having it, I don't know how you recover it, unless you find someone with the original flash or with a flash related to that ECU. Then it will repair the damaged flash. Then now you can communicate with it with OBD. Then you can write a new data or original flash data onto it. So with this one, if you can see, now I'm able to flash the system now. So I'm still connected to it, and I'm still connected to it here. So I can do read EEPROM. Normally when you are flashing ECU and it break, it is usually from the flash that gets the ECU break. So this one, my EEPROM is not corrupted, it is my flash that is corrupted. And now I have rewrite the original file onto the MCU itself, and now I'm able to communicate with it through the CAN line. With some of them like E89, you can't do that. To that one, you have to get what we call shadow flash password, else you can't work on that ECU. And with this one, I'm done successfully. And let me read the flash itself again. So this is the flash that I'm reading, and this flash, after I read it, I will save it and compare it and copy it onto my PC and compare it with the original one and make sure they are the same. If they are the same, then that means my work is done successfully. All I need is, if I want to change the VIN, I can do the VIN editing. If I want to change anything, I can do that from my hex editor, and I can rewrite the flashback. So I know I'm having issue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reuse my multi-prog to do the job again, and to see if this time multi-prog will fail me again. And because I can recover it, even if multi-prog fails, I know how to recover back my ECU because I have the device. And sometimes you can't underestimate some of the genius in the world, some of the guys in the world. They are doing great. So with this one, now I don't need to buy any ECU for the client, although I have bought the ECU for the client and replaced it. Now I have this as my spare ECU and for my lab experiment. So I'm going to see if now multi-prog will be able to write the multi-prog will be able to read and write the ECU. So if multi-prog is able to do that without breaking it, then now I know multi-prog has developed, because now they bring in more updates to improve the device stability. So let me read it, and if it is done successfully, I'll just compare the two files on my laptop. Then from there we can know what to do. It took me days, so I'll put his link in the description so that you can go there and get the pinout for the pinout on the MCU so that you can recover the ECU whenever you break it. So let me name this after break recovery. After break recovery. So with this one, I'm done. Let me save it. Yes, and let me disconnect it. Always remember to disconnect the tool. So let me cycle the ignition, and so I have a video on it writing the data, and I've written the data through the MCU. If I like, I can do that. I can rewrite the data again. So okay, let me do the connect and rewrite the data, use multi-prog to do the work, and bring you back when I'm using the multi-prog. and let's see if multi-prog has really improved. So this was my 9th main using the multi-prog, and even when I got the new one, I also nearly break it with the multi-prog. So I'll just rewrite it through the CAN protocol so that if there is any issues, it can be rectified quickly. Then later I'll try and do an update and see if the vehicle, although the vehicle is not working, but that one will be for another video. So now let me go to load, and let me load it. Because I don't want to make this video long, let me just okay, this Colorado. So this was the second job I did when I got my device. Yeah, Colorado 2009 Colorado. I want the flash, not the EEPROM. Yeah. Okay, so I'll bring you back when I'm done with everything. So if you can see, I am now writing a new the original flash to it through the CAN protocol. With this one, I did it through the MCU, through using MCU, and now I'm doing that using the CAN protocol to do the flash reflashing. So I'll wait for it to finish, then I'll bring you guys back. Then we'll do the EEPROM also. So you can see it's now 13%. So I'm almost done. I'm 94% done after writing it. Then I'll use the multi-prog to do the rest and see if the multi-prog is going to disgrace me this time. So this video is going to be a long video. So with this one, there is a video on it, the guy showing how he did everything. So I'll leave that video in my description so that you can follow his channel and support him or do anything. So I'm done writing the file, and let me do the EEPROM also. So let me search for it. 2009 days the EEPROM. With the EEPROM, it will not take much time. Then after writing the EEPROM, I'll disconnect it. Yeah. So now I'm done, and with this one I can also read and save it direct from the MCU, so that when multi-prog break it again, I will not have any issue. So I can do that. Let me close the software and open it again. So first I have to identify the ECU. I have to identify my MCU. So you can see now I have my MCU identified, or my flash identified, and I'm doing the master reading. So on his site, he did both the master and the slave. So I did only the master, and I'm able to recover the ECU successfully. So now let me go to read and wait for it to finish reading, and you can see the speed at which it is reading down here. So reading it from the MCU takes like some few seconds for it to be done. So after all work done, okay, so that I know this after I flashed it. So with my after all work done, now I'm done with this software, and if any other jobs I can also do it. So I'm done with this software. I'll fire up my multi-prog, then I will try the multi-prog also. So now what I'm going to do is use the OBD option on my OBD star. to see if I can I can go into. So normally after doing reflash or anything with this ECU, you have to reset it, power it off and power it back on. So now let me see if I can see the DTCs before I go to store. The DTC should be a lot, yes. And let me see, no, okay, so these are the fault codes. Let me see permanent fault codes. Yeah, let me go back again and check. Okay, this doesn't have anything related to knock sensor. I think O2 sensor is the issue. So now let me go back and let me go to yes, ignition is 10 on, engine is off, view VIN number, so that I can view the VIN number. I have my correct VIN number, calibration ID. I should have all sets, calibration ID numbers, all is set, and everything is set. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Let me go to other functions, which is permanent code and other things. So with this one, let me do live stream on it. Select okay, so I can use this OBD to do diagnosis. So because nothing is connected to it, that's why you see the intake temperatures to be negative and other things. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. So there is another feature on OBD DC706. So I'll connect my multi-prog. I'm flashing it and I'll fire it up. I'm flashing the firmware, then I'll fire it up. I got this new cable so that I can just connect it, because it's using the CAN protocol. I can just connect it direct without using the multi-prog system. So this is for go dark buys for the multi-prog. So you connect this side to the multi-prog, then this side to any OBD device that you have, or if you've even make it. So I'm going to use this one, the OBD star one, to do it. Then we'll read and write and see if the MC and everything will be okay. So I've connected it. You can see now the multi-prog has sent power to it. That's why the light has turned on and it's working perfectly. That's why I got the cable, so that without the multi-prog pins I can do anything that I want. So you can see it's able to identify the ECU. It's able to identify it and even the VIN number and everything, and it's now reading it. So what I'll do is I have to wait for it to finish reading. Then I'll bring you guys back when it is done reading, so you can see the current that the ECU is drawing. So I'll wait for everything to be done, then I'll bring you guys back and compare the data and see if they are the same. So now with this setup, it's able to read the ECU. So thanks to Go Dark for bringing this cable out to help us, because of the Bosch ECUs and other ECUs and the transmissions that we'll be reading. That's why this Bosch brought this Go Dark brought this cable out, and it's a nice cable. It will help. And anytime you are doing this thing, the OBD the multi-prog automatically turns it on and off. So all you need to do is to press the power button on for it to work. You leave the rest to multi-prog. So you can see I'm reading it successfully. It's almost done. Then after reading it, I'll wait for it to, although I'm still connected to my MCU, in case of anything I'm not going to do re-soldering or re-leading again, and I quickly flash it. So now everything is done successfully, and I'll bring out I think I'll bring a video also whereby my supplier changed my device from Chinese version to global version. So if you can see, it is done reading the data and data reading successfully. So there is the data that was read. So I'll save it and give it a name, then bring you guys back. So now I'm comparing the file, and you can see after comparing it, it tells me the two files compared are the same. So now what I'm going to do is, let me write it with multi-prog. I'm not going to write it with any different recovery. I'm going to write it with multi-prog's own one that we read. So let me find for the location, multi-prog. So writing it will take much time than reading it. So let me do multi-prog. Yeah, this is the multi-prog one that I read. I've opened it. So let me click on it. Moment of truth. Right. Oh, let me skip checksum. No checksum needed. I don't need any checksum. Yes, I don't need any checksum because I already know it. So now it's able to communicate. Let me see if multi-prog after updates and after a year of being in the industry, let me see if multi-prog will be able to write this file successfully. So we'll bring you guys back the moment the multi-prog starts writing the file. So let's see if multi-prog will be able to write it successfully. And you can see I'm having enough current going to the ECU. So let me wait for it to verify. And one thing about multi-prog is, if the file is the same, it will just skip all the writing. So with this one, you can see the file is the same, and it quickly skip everything, and now the writing is successfully. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. So multi-prog is able to do it successfully, and you can see the DC power is now 0 amps, and my light has turned off because multi-prog have stopped supplying power to it. So at this point, multi-prog is not able to break it. For me to verify, let me connect it to my OBD star and confirm from it to make sure that it has not been able to break it. And with this one, you can hit read again and you can do your verification, if only you know there is nothing changed in the file structure or in the file system. So if you can see, I'll wait for my checksum to be done successfully, because this is the original file on the ECU. So the next thing maybe I'll do is I'll try and see if I'll be able to. So this one, the checksum is done successfully. The file currently does not support verification. Okay, so it will just do another skip writing because everything is the same, and I've done this like 2 or 3 times already, and I'm still not having issue. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. So now multi-prog is able to do it.